Have you ever heard a woman say something so sharp, so cold, that it cuts deeper than any knife? What if that woman is your wife, the person you promised to grow old with? Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, believed that as we age, the soul speaks louder than society. And when a woman says these 5 specific things, especially in your older years, it's not just talk. It's a warning, a red flag, and maybe even a final door. In this video, we'll reveal 5 powerful statements that, according to Jung's psychological insights, signal a deeply broken relationship and why walking away may be your only peace left. Especially for men over 60, this isn't just marriage advice. It's life-saving truth. Let's begin. Chapter 1. You've never done anything for me. The erasure of your life. When a wife tells you, "You've never done anything for me," it's more than a complaint. It's a complete erasure of your contributions. Carl Jung emphasized how the elderly live in a stage of integration, where your soul tries to make peace with your past. So imagine what happens when your partner wipes away your entire value in one sentence. Every birthday you remembered, every bill you paid, every sleepless night spent worrying, every small sacrifice you made, gone, vanished like you were never there. Jung believed that such denial comes from a shadow projection. When someone can no longer face their own unhappiness, they project it onto the nearest target. Often that's you. In older age, this is extremely dangerous. Why? Because this is the age when you start reflecting on your life, asking, was it worth it? Did I matter? Did I give enough? And if someone you loved answers with, you never did anything, that can destroy your inner peace forever. What this really means, her statement isn't about you. It's about her emotional emptiness. But she's made you the villain. Carl Jung's insight. When someone weaponizes your past against you, it's a signal to disengage spiritually. Not all enemies shout. Some sleep next to you. What to do? Do not argue. Do not justify. Do not beg for recognition. Instead, reclaim your truth. Write it down. Own your legacy. And if needed, walk away with dignity. Chapter 2. You're just like your father, the weapon of identity. This statement cuts deep because it attacks something older men fear most, becoming like the man who raised them. Maybe your father was abusive, cold, silent, absent, or simply unloved. And now, in your old age, the woman you trusted most throws your greatest fear in your face. Carl Jung called this the archetype wound. We all carry an unconscious wound from childhood, usually tied to a parent. When your wife says, "You're just like your father," she activates that hidden wound. Why would she do this? Because in toxic relationships, words are weapons, and familiarity becomes the target. Instead of helping you grow or evolve, she pulls you backward into pain. She uses your past not to understand you, but to control you. Jung's perspective. If your spouse cannot see who you are today and only attacks who you were yesterday, they're not in relationship with you. They're in relationship with their own resentment. Especially for the elderly, such emotional abuse can lead to depression, low self-worth, and even illness. What this really means, she's trying to make your identity the problem, so she never has to examine hers. What to do? Distance yourself from the poison of comparison. If she cannot see who you are now, then she's chosen to remain blind. Leave the courtroom of judgment. You're not on trial. Chapter 3. I don't care anymore. The death of emotional intimacy. Nothing destroys the soul of an elderly man faster than hearing this. I don't care anymore. Why? Because it signals emotional death. Carl Jung believed that every person over 60 begins the process of inner rebalancing, seeking deeper emotional connection, spiritual meaning, and peace. When your wife says she no longer cares about your words, your feelings, or even your presence, it breaks the very bond Jung called the soul union. In younger years, indifference may be tolerable, but in older years, it's like being buried alive. No hand to hold, no voice to answer, no smile to meet, just cold silence in the home you built together. Jung's insight. Indifference is worse than anger. At least anger means you still matter. But indifference? It means you've become invisible. What this really means, she has emotionally checked out. And likely, she's moved her emotional energy elsewhere. Maybe into children, hobbies, or even fantasies of a different life. What to do? Don't beg for emotional crumbs. That's beneath the dignity of a man who has lived a full life. Either re-establish connection through counseling, or prepare your soul to walk away from an empty shell of a relationship. Chapter 4. You ruined my life. The ultimate guilt bomb. Few sentences carry more guilt than, "You ruined my life." It's a complete disowning of personal responsibility. Carl Jung warned against the projection of the inner shadow when someone blames others for their unfulfilled dreams. If your wife says this to you late in life, she's essentially saying, "You are the reason I am not happy. You are the mistake I regret. You stole my chance at joy." That is not marriage. That is emotional hostage-taking. And for older men, such words carry extra weight. You may ask yourself, did I really hold her back? Did I waste her years? Am I the villain? Don't fall for this trap. Jung's view. Everyone is responsible for their own life journey. Blame is the language of cowards. And guilt, when used to control, becomes emotional poison. What this really means, she feels deep dissatisfaction, and instead of owning it, she hands it to you like a debt you never owed. Control Chapter 5. I wish I married someone else. This is the nuclear bomb of marriage. I wish I married someone else. It instantly crushes years of commitment, every sacrifice you made, your shared memories, your belief that you were chosen. This statement doesn't just sting, it dismantles your identity as a husband. Carl Jung wrote that late-life realizations often bring about painful truths. But some truths are weapons, not wisdom. This sentence isn't truth. It's emotional abandonment. She's not expressing a desire for healing. She's expressing contempt. And contempt, according to psychologists like John Gottman, is the single greatest predictor of divorce. Jung's deeper insight. When a woman says this, she is projecting her failure to find meaning in her own life and trying to make you the reason for it. What this really means, she has rewritten your love story in her mind and cast you as the mistake. That's not something you can fix. What to do? Take back your narrative. You lived. You loved. You tried. And if your love was rejected, it's time to love yourself enough to let go. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." If your wife says any of these 5 things to you, and says them not once, but repeatedly, cruelly, and with no remorse, it may be time to stop being a prisoner of your past and become the guardian of your peace. Because in your final decades, you are owed truth over manipulation, peace over conflict, love over obligation. Your heart still matters. Your soul still breathes. And your story isn't over yet. So if you hear these words, don't argue, don't beg, don't shrink. Stand up, step out, and live the rest of your life as your truest self. Carl Jung would want nothing less.